Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Visio. In this module I want to show you why it is important to use layers in a floor plan, or any diagram really, but in a floor plan in particular. So if I just create a quick floor plan, so I'll click on that option and create it, and then I'll just add some shapes and show you what I mean. So if I drag a room shape on there, so it's quite small, that one is, it's a 2.5 by 3 meter room. I've got the size and position window open, so I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger, 5 meters maybe by 5 meters, so we get the idea. So this is a bigger space. And then if I add a door to it, just add a door. The door is the default, which is 90 centimeters. That'll do. And a window. Let's get a window on there, and put 2 windows on there on either side. Keep it nice and windowy. Line that up a bit, and I'll also put one on this side. So now that is the first part of the floor plan, the actual structure of the place, the doors, windows, and the room and the walls. So what I'm going to do is just highlight all of this off and create a layer that I can then lock down at a later time. So if we just go back to home, so on the home tab you've got the layers option at the end under editing. Assign to layer, layer properties. So assign to a layer. So these are the layers that are already there. These come with their own layers. So you've got the option of going new there, or if I cancel this off, I can go into layer properties and it will show me all the layers, as you can see there, visible or not. Now if I cancel that off and just go back into the first one, assign to layer, I'll go new layer. So this layer I will call Steve, and then click OK to that, and then OK again. Now if I go back into layer properties, I can see Steve is visible. If I take the other elements off, OK, apply, because Steve is also encompassing those layers, I should be able to see that still. Click OK to that, click off the diagram, so I can see everything in place there. So that is a layer. Now it is not locked, but it's a complete thing. If I go back into that and go into layer properties, and for Steve you've got the options here of lock. Now if I click OK to that, I can't move this at all, so that's okay. This is sitting in place for me, ready to add elements in this room like desks, chairs, etc, etc. So if I go and look at the other stencils there, you've got different options at the top there: quick shapes, annotation, building core, so that'll just come up with different symbols, and then engineering symbols, drawing tools, electrical and telecoms, points of interest, and then the actual structure itself. Now what I haven't got is any desks, so if I just search for a desk, see what comes up. Or if you know that there's a stencil that you know where this stuff is, you can actually grab it from there. So this is giving me all the information I want. Now if I go for a workstation, let's have a look what happens if I bring this in. Now look how big that is. That's quite big. So that's 2.5 meters, nearly 2.5 meters square, that whole space. And it might be too big, just about fits there. Okay, so we'll put that in there, that's not too bad. But bear in mind that when you buy things like this, you can put the measurements in this window, and then this shape will reflect that. So these are all preset. You might want to do it individually. Let's see what happens if I bring a desk on. So I'll just sit there. So that's just like a desk. If I put that there, that looks like a drawer. And then a desk chair, that looks like it'll fit there, and you can line that up and you can spin that round. So that sits like that. Now there are preset formats in terms of distance you have to have in a desk space. I think it's 1.20 meters all around, so that's quite a big space you've got there. What else can I bring in here? So let's go for a table. If I search for table, bring a little table in, and then I don't want much more in there because it's getting a bit cluttered. Circular table, casual table, put it into that corner there. Maybe I want a sofa or something in there. Let's put a sofa at the top there. I might get that in there. Search for a sofa. Sofa 2-seater probably. It's going to be quite big. No, it's going to fit. Excellent. So that sofa is fitting and spin it round the other way, so it's back to the wall. So I'll put it into that corner, like so, and then the desk can sit there. Just move the sofa up a little bit away from the wall. Now what I could also do is create layers for these. If I click on that one, hold the shift key down and just go and create a layer. So I'll call these assign to layer I want really. I'll call this test 1, test 2, test 3 for these 3 elements. I'll just see if I can do that. So I'm going new. I'll call it test 1. Okay, and then I'll click on the sofa. Okay, to that I'll click on the sofa, shift key, and the table, and I'll call that. If I go into layer, not layer properties, you can go into layer properties. I'll go into layer, assign to layer, new. Call this test 2. Okay, okay, and then this one by itself, test 3. So I've got 3 separate layers. Keep wanting to go into layer properties. I suppose it's no difference. Test 3. Okay, okay. Now if I do go into, now I can go into layer properties. I should see those three that I've just done, including the first one I did. Now let's see what happens here. If I take these ticks off one by one, apply. These are all the preset loaded ones that come in with the stencil shapes that you drag on as you drag them on. So I just want to make sure everything, because I've created my own little layers, that it still shows, although I'll have to do it again. So far so good, everything's still staying there. Now I'm coming down to the ones that I've done. So just get rid of wall and window. So we've now just got the 4 that I created. So if I tick these off, in theory these should start disappearing. So I'll leave Steve because that's the actual walls. So test 1, apply, that's gone. Test 2, apply, that's gone. And then test 3, apply, and then everything's disappeared, ready to come back when you take them back on. So if you create your own layers, and make sure you're grabbing the preset layers as well, it just makes it a little bit easier to manage things if you've got a complex diagram and you need to move things around, and just maybe you just want to edit this layer, you know, because you take the lock off this particular layer, Steve, and then you need to do something to this, or I don't know, the window or whatever, and then lock it down again and then put all the other ones back. That's how you would use layers. You can actually set different colors as well for layers. But it's just a bit of trial and error initially, just to make sure you've grabbed the right thing to make it a layer, and then you can just do what I've just done there, show or hide it. So hopefully this little video has been of use. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for your time.